Okay, good morning. Call our meeting, the order of State Ethics Commission, public meeting, June 17th, 9 a.m. Pursuant to the requirements of the Sunshine Act, the holding of an executive session must be announced at the public meeting immediately prior to said executive session or at the next meeting thereafter. An executive meeting was held on June 16, 2014 to review matters that are by statute 65 PACS 708-1108 confidential, including the review of completed investigations for the purpose of issuing final adjudications, the consideration of the assigned reviewing commissioner's recommendation to terminate certain preliminary inquiries, to review the consideration of application for 90-day extensions of investigations filed by the investigative division, a petition to dismiss an investigative matter, and the review of pending litigation. An executive teleconference meeting was held on June 4th, 2014 to review matters that are by statute 65 PA-CS 708-1108 confidential, including a request for reconsideration and oral arguments as to a previous issued order. An executive teleconference meeting was held on May 7, 2014 to review matters that are by statute 65 PA-CS 708-1108 confidential, including the review and consideration of an application for a 90-day extension of investigation filed by the investigative division and the review of a completed investigation for the purpose of issuing final adjudication. First item on the agenda is approval of the April 25th meeting. They've been circulated to you before. I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of April 25th. Commissioner Nick, second by Commissioner Colifell. Any questions, comments, additions, deletions? If not, hearing none, all those in favor of approving your minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes have been approved. Next item on the agenda, number 2, lobbying. Civil penalty orders, which are consent agreements, and Commissioner Corrigan has agreed to take these cases.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There are 4 administrative penalty cases with proposed consent agreements for our consideration. The following respondents are principals that failed to timely file a quarterly expense report for the 4th quarter of 2013 in their capacities as registered principals. Number 1, Voyager Jet Center, LLC. Number 2, Pennsylvania Distributors Association, Incorporated. Number 3, Edison Learning, Incorporated. And number 4, Food and Water Watch. In each case, the parties are in agreement that the respondents' transgressions of the lobbying disclosure law were negligent. Respondents Pennsylvania Distributors Association and Food and Water Watch have already paid the agreed upon administrative penalties and have filed their delinquent expense reports. Respondents Voyager Jet Center, LLC and Edison Learning, Incorporated have filed their delinquent expense reports, but they have not yet paid the agreed upon administrative penalties. Based upon my review of the facts, I am of the opinion that the consent agreements are proper dispositions for the respective cases, and I would like to make the following motion. I would move that this commission approve the consent agreements submitted by each of the following respondents and the investigative division of this commission, and impose the following administrative penalties for the respondents' delinquent expense reports for the fourth quarter of 2013. As to Voyager Jet Center LLC, Edison Learning Incorporated, and Food and Water Watch, one administrative penalty per respondent in the amount of $3,150 each. And number two, as to Pennsylvania Distributors Association Incorporated, one administrative penalty in the amount of $1,300. I further move that Voyager Jet Center LLC and Edison Learning Incorporated be ordered to pay these administrative penalties within 30 days of the issuance of our order.
Thank you, Commissioner Corrigan. Is there a second to his motion?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Lewis. Any questions or comments? Chair has a question. I forget, do we get those from the State Department?
Right. We get the list from the Department of State when someone has filed the delinquent, or when they have failed to file.
When they failed to file.
Failed to file, and we usually get those 30 days after the end of the quarter. That's at least what the requirement is, that they provide it to us by 30 days after the end of the quarter, and then within 2 or 3 days after the receipt of them, we have all the notices sent out.
Now,
Oh, I'm sorry, Brian said 60 days by the end of the quarter.
Okay.
And then we get them out within.
if I
2 or 3 days.
recall, the Department of State has been slow getting these orders.
They have been very slow, but recently they've gotten a little better. And there are some bills pending over in the General Assembly to change the way they do them, to eliminate paper filings and that everything has to be done online, which they're hoping that if they get everything streamlined for filing online, that we should get the notices much quicker.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
That's right.
Motion is adopted. Next item on the agenda is item number 3, civil penalty orders, consents or default. It's my understanding that the Jackson one has been removed from the agenda. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. So, Ms. Bergen, you have the civil penalty order, item number 3.
Correct. There's one civil penalty case with a proposed consent agreement that is now before this commission for decision. The case involves respondent Gloria Criswell, an income maintenance caseworker with the Pennsylvania Department of Public Welfare, who failed to timely file a statement of financial interest for calendar year 2012. The parties have submitted a consent agreement proposing that the commission find that Ms. Criswell failed to timely file a statement of financial interest for calendar year 2012 and impose one civil penalty in the amount of $250. Ms. Criswell has filed a delinquent form but has not paid the recommended civil penalty. Based upon my review of the facts, I am of the opinion that this consent agreement is consistent with the commission precedent and is a proper disposition for this case. It is my opinion that the commission should order Ms. Criswell to pay the recommended civil penalty agreed to by the parties per the consent agreement. Based upon my analysis, I would like to make the following motion. I move that this commission approve the consent agreement submitted by Ms. Criswell and the investigative division imposing a civil penalty in the amount of $250 for Ms. Criswell's failure to timely file a statement of financial interest for the calendar year 2012. Further, Ms. Criswell shall be ordered to pay the recommended civil penalty agreed to by the parties per the consent agreement within the 30 days issuance of the commission's order. So moved.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Corrigan. Any questions, comments? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion adopted. Next one. Oh, did you do both those?
Yes, well, I have the next one as well.
Yeah.
This case involves respondent Marion Johnson, an income maintenance caseworker with the Pennsylvania Department of Public Welfare, who failed to file a statement of financial interest for the calendar year 2012. the respondent did not take action or respond to the civil penalty proceedings. Following review, it is my opinion that as the respondent, the Commission should levy a maximum civil penalty of $250 for the delinquent statement of financial interest. It is my opinion that the Commission should also order the respondent to file her delinquent statement of financial interest. There is nothing of record that would constitute a defense or an excuse for her non-compliance. Based on my motion, I would move that this Commission levy a maximum civil penalty in the total amount of $250 against respondent Marion Johnson for failing to file a statement of financial interest for the calendar year 2012. Further, the respondent shall be ordered to file the statement of financial interest for the calendar year 2012 within 30 days issuance of the Commission's order. So moved.
Okay, you heard Commissioner Berger's motion. Is there a second? Second, Commissioner Nick. Any questions or comments?
This respondent did not respond to the notices to file.
That's correct.
Correct.
Do we send something to the employer based on that section of the statute that basically notifies them that the person has not filed? And if this commission accepts this recommendation, also alert them to the provision in the law that says that the person should not or may not be eligible to be paid?
We work with, in this case, it's DPW, we work with their HR office. They actually provide us with a list of non-filers. And then we send first notice letters, and there usually is a pretty good list. We got whittled down to 2 this year, which was pretty good. They get notified of the non-compliance and the failure to, we sent 2 different notice letters to the individual. They will get a notice and they'll get a copy of the order advising them that the person didn't comply. It would be up to us, up to the commission to go after the income, but I don't think we can go after it for an employee. Only public officials can you go after the compensation, and public employees, we can't go after their income as an employee.
So the consequence for failing to file for them is, other than 250 order, which if they ignore, then we'd have to proceed through a process to collect it as almost as if a civil penalty.
That's correct, yes. Yeah, the penalty's rather light, because it doesn't seem fair that the lady who cooperated after, and she's paying the $250, the one that blew us off and it's ignoring everything, is getting the same penalty. It just, but that's the way the law is written.
Now, Rob, if she gets this from us and she says a $250 penalty, the hell with it, I'm not paying it, throws it in the trash. Do we expend time and energy enforcing that judgment in Commonwealth Court?
Yes.
Really?
Which is-
Yeah, we do.
Well,
Well, we can get costs, that's about it, and we, but that's probably really, that doesn't cover really all of our expenses in getting the person served, filing the paperwork, going to court.
Yep. It's almost not worth it.
No, you're right,
Yeah.
you're right.
the time we're spending right now, but isn't that one of our amendments to increase that from 250 up to 2,000 that we hope we can get?
Yes, that's what we had suggested in some of our amendments to the act, was increasing the penalty to give the commission some latitude to go from 250 up to 2,000.
Right. And that's in our list of amendments that we're hoping to get adopted. Hope.
And then we keep the money, of course, it doesn't go
Pardon
to
me?
the general. Then the money would go to the commission's budget, not to the general fund.
Yeah, right, right.
I don't know how that'll fly, but.
If we were gods.
Ms. Bergen, did you have anything else?
Sorry, John, I had you on mute. No, that's it. So I moved. I don't know if anybody seconded.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We both did.
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we were on the comment. Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you, Ms. Bergen.
Thank you.
I think that concludes the business at hand. Rob, I had one administrative matter. You asked me to check so we could set the date. How about that Wednesday, October 1st, Thursday, October 2nd? Pardon me? Pardon me?
What were the dates again?
Wednesday, next meeting, Wednesday, October 1st, Thursday, October 2nd in Philadelphia. That way it allowed Maria to get her boardroom reserved, and Judge Lewis is gonna work with Rob on having a room for the public meeting at the courthouse. The hotel we're staying doesn't have a meeting room?
They do, if worst comes to worst. We just thought it might be a nice idea to have it in City Hall, but if we couldn't get a room, we could get a meeting room in the hotel.
Yeah. So, then, commissioners, it's okay for the staff to proceed for those dates. October 1st and Thursday, October 2nd in Philadelphia.
I have a question, maybe for Judge Lewis and Maria. Do the trains go the whole way into Penn Center from here, or do you have to go out to 30th Street?
Now, there is a train that goes into Penn Center. It stops at 16th and JFK.
Oh, okay.
That goes right, I mean, basically is within walking distance, 2-3 blocks from
The hotel.
the hotel.
Yeah,
So, yes, trains do go in there.
okay, thank you. And Heather, is there a parking garage with this hotel?
With the Embassy Suites, it's valet parking only.
Thank
Okay,
But there is a parking garage. I mean, they don't have a parking garage, but there's a parking garage right around the corner, right there I think it's on 18th Street. There's a parking garage right there at the corner.
Rob, Brian, Martin, anything for the commissioners?
No, we're trying to, we can walk across the street. They're going to squeeze us in and get the pictures taken. They had a pretty full load over there this morning, they said, but they're going to work with us to get everyone in and get all our pictures done this morning on their DJS. Ryan's contact.
Okay, Heather, do we owe you anything? Everyone,
No, we're good.
we're very efficient. This meeting, unless I hear otherwise, is adjourned.